Hey everybody, and welcome back to my new YouTube channel. I hope you all enjoyed the previous video, because today we're turning this plain old handheld blower into a powerful backpack mounted blowing machine. As I said in the intro, we're making a backpack mounted blower machine. It's extremely cheap and affordable to make, and it doesn't require many tools. I'm making this blower because I didn't want to use the handheld ones because they really hurt your arm. Now before you click off and say, I don't want to watch another DIY, I'm actually going to put in the end result first and then the DIY build because it's kind of silly to put it the opposite ways. So I put in a few scenes, so I hope you enjoy. Now since you've seen how the blower looks, I want to admit something. The thing I created here is only for yard use. It is not a weapon. All the scenes might have looked like it's a weapon, but it is really not. It is not a weapon. I just want to get that clear. Now, I want to do some demonstration. I'm not going to do any side-by-side because I am using the same blower I did 2 weeks ago. But I hope you enjoy that, and then we'll go on to the DIY build. Now since you've seen how the blower works, let's build it. Last time the video was quite long because I went through each material and step-by-step solution explanation. This time I'm actually going to speed it up just to make it less boring. I'm just going to go over them as we go. I'm also going to be only using 2 power tools, a circular saw and a drill to complete this build. I'm going to split the build up into 3 phases. Phase 1 is going to be building the platform to house the blower. In this case I'm using a steel blower, but any type of blower would work, just different dimensions. Stage 2 is going to be attaching to the backpack. I'm just using a regular school backpack, but anything that harnesses to your back would be perfect. And stage 3 is going to be finally attaching the hose to complete the build. So let's start off with phase 1. So for phase 1, you're going to grab any type of wood, plywood or hardwood to cut into 2 different pieces to attach to your assembly. As you can see here, I'm using 1/2-inch plywood, and I've marked out 2 different pieces. This piece over here is going to attach to the backpack, while this piece is going to attach to the blower I'm using. You have to remember though, I am making these pieces the dimensions to match my blower and backpack, so everyone's going to be different. Now, when cutting these, I'm going to be using a plain old circular saw to get the cuts done, but if you have a bandsaw or table saw, that would also work. So now let's cut it. Remember that when using power tools like the circular saw, always have hearing protection and eye protection. These saws tend to fling a lot of dust towards your face. Once you finish cutting and sanding the wood, you're going to orientate them into a 90-degree angle like this. Use some fasteners to connect them. For fastening the 2 boards together, I am using 3 stainless steel L's, a bunch of screws, and a matching drill bit. These L's are very easy to use and have a clean look at the end. You are going to place the L's in their respective locations on the screen and then mark them with a pen. As you can see here, I am only going to put the first screw on the top hole of the L brackets. This is so that I can move the L's to the respective angles when attaching the bottom board. When you have securely fastened the 2 boards, put in the remaining screws to make it permanent. I am now going to cut 2 pieces of wood to be located as angled braces to help support the weight of the blower and give the overall structure a nice sturdy hold. Once you finish cutting up the angled brackets, it should look something like this. Now the angled brackets are not really necessary, but I'm using them because I have a steel blower and those are really heavy and they're gasoline powered. Now I'm going to attach the blower to the base using some hooks, but I'm not going to show any of that because each blower has a different base design and it depends on if it's electric, gas, or battery. So switch. Okay. So now since we've finished this up, we have successfully completed phase 1. I have locked down the blower so it cannot really move, and if the platform is tilted in any direction, the blower will move with it. That is now finished phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be connecting this to a backpack, so now let's now go to phase 2. So, for phase 2, we're going to have to attach the backpack harness to the blower mount we made in phase 1 so that we can turn this into a more wearable. As you can see here, I've already drilled a few holes into the backpack. You should have drilled them in the wood first, but I didn't really do that. I'm also going to be using 3 screws, and I'm going to mark out the holes on the piece of wood. This is just a piece of scrap wood I got from the plywood I cut earlier. I'm using a drill bit that matches the screw holes and drilling those holes out properly. One thing I should mention that is not totally clear in the video is that it took me many tries to get this screws put in because it took a lot of force and my drill wasn't doing a very good job. I cut out the clips because my hand got in the way of the camera, but I had to use a lot of force to clamp the 2 pieces of wood together to get the screws right. Once that's done, you've successfully completed stage 2, which is attaching the backpack. Now for stage 3, which is attaching the hose. Let's go. Before we go on to stage 3, I do want to actually admit something. I have actually made a few renovations to the design so that it makes it look a little bit more appealing. As you can see here, I've added some pieces of aluminum flashing to the side just to give it some nice coverage and make it so it protects the wood and so that people don't see the exposed plywood. I've also made some angled cuts here to make it a little bit less footprint and it will give it a little better look and not so much of an outbreaker in your back. Now since I've covered all the aesthetics, we're going to move on to stage 3, which is connecting the hose. For the hose, you're going to need an elbow so that you can take the blower's output at 90-degree angle towards the front of you. You're also going to need some flexible hose. This is just a dryer hose. It's not the correct diameter, but if you just cinch it down, you can probably get it to the correct diameter of the hose. This elbow actually came with my blower and I just cut it off to make it a perfect 90 degrees. Obviously not all of yours is, but just get a piece of ABS pipe with the same diameter. You're also going to need the hose that came with your blower. Mine had a few attachments, so that's why I'm doing it. So now let's put this together. So that means it's montage time. Once you finish connecting the hose with the flexible pipe and the exterior hose, you're pretty much done with the hose assembly. I added an extra piece because that's what it's going to be finally. And then what you're going to do is take your elbow like this, and you're going to put it in exactly the hole that we cut out for the blower, and you're just going to push it in and turn. And there you go. This is the hose for your blower. Now we're going to work on the trigger. For the materials and procedure for the trigger, I'm not going to go real in depth because each blower is different. I'm going to do the mandatory steps for my steel blower and any steel blower. What I'm going to need is I'm going to need some rope, some piping so that the rope can go in and be safe. I'm also going to need some PVC pipe. Any size would work as long as it's small. And then a metal pipe. These two are going to comprise the actual lever. These two are going to comprise the pulley. And then I'm also going to need some wood and some miscellaneous hardware to attach to the blower. I will be only showing you the first step of the trigger mechanism because it's highly dependent on what type of blower you have. I'm using a mechanical drive, so I'm only using a rope and no electricity, but it depends on what blower you have. Boom! We finished the backpack blower. I added the trigger, so if you pull the metal lever here, it pulls the orange trigger in the back and activates the blower's acceleration. I already showed off how this blower looks and demonstrates, so if you want to see that, click on the time above. And that's about it. So I hope you all comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I'll be uploading more videos soon, so I'll see you then. Oh wait, there are bloopers.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my new YouTube channel. And today we're gonna turn this. Oh my god, there's a bug on it! Hey everybody!